Hi, I'm Christopher McClinton. Thanks for being with us for another episode of Extensible Podcast. Today, I'm pleased to welcome Manish Pandey, who is the Senior Vice President of Product and Go-to-Market for Jiffy.ai. Hi, Manish. Thanks for being here.
Hi, Christopher. Likewise. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Before we get rolling, maybe you would take a minute and share with us a little bit about your own trajectory, and also for our viewers who may not be familiar with Jiffy.ai, tell us what you guys are up to.
So Jiffy.ai is basically championing the cause of building delightful user experiences, while we are also looking to automate the middle office and the back office using our AI-powered no-code platform. And when I say AI-powered no-code platform, we mean it. No one is writing a piece of code on our platform. Absolutely, it's no code. That's point number one. Point number two, what we stand for is that this platform is very domain aware and is very purposefully built for financial services. So the domain language models that you see in the platform is actually serving whether you are a bank or a credit union or a wealth firm. It's like you are bringing a bank in a box. So that's point number two. Point number three is that if you think about some significant gaps in the industry apart from what I talked, the first interaction a consumer will have with a bank or a credit union is through the account opening or onboarding. Now, traditionally, the way we have looked at is the product-centric approach. If you're looking to open a deposit account or a loan account or a card account, what we stand for is through our point solutions, we call it hyper apps. So we try to address the challenges around the consumer onboarding through a unified end-to-end onboarding product, again, the hyper app, which allow you to take care of the entire journey from personalized relationship, data capture, going up to the KYC validations, going into the core, onboarding the client for a specific product or the multi-product scenario. The second situation is we call it seamless servicing. So if you're looking to update your address, if you are looking to issue a new card, if you're looking to make sure that you are adding nominee in your current holdings, so those kind of frequent requests that you get, we consider this as a part of just normal servicing requirement. And through our hyper app on seamless servicing, we are able to address that kind of requirement too. That's what Jiffy stands for. Now, to give you a backstory that how we came into existence. So Babu Sivasadan, who is our co-founder and the CEO, previously co-founded two very successful ventures, Stamps.com and InvestNet. They're both public company today. They both are multi-billion-dollar in market cap. When Babu was at the InvestNet, he realized that in the future, many of his peers will require a set of capabilities coming together where business users and technology users can come together, collaborate in real time, and solve many of the enterprise problems, building, let's say, complex business applications. And without writing or without involvement of too much of technical, hard skills. That's where he assembled a set of capabilities in this platform. And again, this is AI-powered no-code platform that we are talking today. So that was the origin of how Jiffy came into existence.
Yeah, we are very aware of the same challenges that the financial institutions are facing in the areas that you covered, and saw that you guys were bringing some really novel ideas to help them address those. And so we're very pleased to have Jiffy.ai in the Finxact marketplace. And we are looking forward to surfacing Jiffy.ai into the conversations that we're having with banks, because we think it can be really helpful. Maybe I could just ask you, what makes Jiffy.ai unique in its category relative to others?
Absolutely. First of all, I believe that we are uniquely creating a category right now. I don't think we belong to any category. Why I say this, and not to be arrogant or proud, Christopher, but I mean, if I look across the industry has a lot of automation tools. RPA and so on and so forth. Then industry has doc processing tools. Industry has integration tools. Industry has some low-code platforms which allow you to write, build applications on top of them, where technically people are using those platforms to build applications. What we are is the no-code platform, and absolutely no code. And we are not just a no-code platform, but we are bringing all those capabilities together. The things that I mentioned, automation, document processing, integration, data management, UI, UX builder, all those are coming together in one platform and giving you a kind of length and breadth of capabilities, which was not seen previously. So that's the reason I feel that we are kind of very unique in that context. Again, the length and breadth of capabilities in one box. That's point number one. Point number two, the other key, there are several unique features in the platform, but one of the things that differentiates us in the market. So if you look at our banking or financial services industry, historically, what we have struggled with, the building the ecosystem. We have a lot of products, the banks will be using, or credit unions are using, or other financial institutions are using today. Many of them are legacy systems. And because of that, we have the siloed ecosystems created in the, in different pockets of the bank. With our ability, we call it a connector framework, which is very, very unique in terms of how you build the integrations. So traditionally, people will write the API codes and have two systems come together and talk to them. Today, just like you upload a document on Google Drive, you can upload the API specs, and not to go too technical here, but you just take the API specs, upload that into our platform. Our platform is reading those API specs and assembling the code, which is already there in the platform, and building the integration. So rather than waiting for weeks and months, now you're building integration in a matter of minutes, maybe an hour. Again, no one is writing any code. The platform itself assembled the code by reading the API specs.
That's very interesting. In fact, there's some similarities to what Finxact is doing insofar as allowing, with our use of extensibility, allowing our customers to ingest their own API schemas into the model and have the data model, auto-generate the code, just as you're describing, and have it, perform just harmoniously with everything that's there already.
In that regard, I find that Finxact is a great innovation. Not to, kind of mutually admire each other here, right? But the fact is that, I've seen Finxact very closely, especially when I was at Fiserv. I've seen that product, in action, and it's been a phenomenal innovation.
I agree with you. We've got some very smart people working on that. Maybe I could get you to help our viewers understand, and me understand a little bit better, about how AI is, you're sort of taking this a step beyond just automation and sort of traditional RPA, and you might even say that, like, and for those a little tired that might be tired of the acronyms, that's robotic process automation. So it's very common, been used for years. It's often used where businesses are dealing with legacy systems that are siloed and may not have very good API access or API access at all. And it's used to automate those processes. But it's got some limitations, it doesn't really deal well with high variability. It requires very structured data, which you might not always get if you're reaching in 5 or 6 different directions across those silos. And it's good with like sort of medium complexity, but not high complexity. How are you using AI to do better than that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'll try to answer this from two different perspectives. One from our platform perspective. So when a user of the platform is using to build an application, then what AI capabilities they will see. And I will also try to explain this from the end user perspective, someone who's using our product from the consumption point of view. So let's talk from the user perspective, the one who is building an application on the platform. If you are building an application, let's say it has a UI into that, and then let's say it has integration requirements and some document processing. So if you're building that kind of application, first and foremost, let's say you start your journey of building an application from a legacy form. Today, believe it or not, but in the financial services industry where we live in today, you still see some physical forms, PDF documents, right? Especially if you are talking to some advisors, they will bring those forms and, hey, Christopher, can I just note down some details, right? Your demographic, your holdings, and this and that, right? Mm-hmm. We can take that physical PDF form, ingest that into our platform, and we can digitize that whole form into a digital form completely in a matter of minutes. And then there is an AI there. So now bringing back to your point, there is an AI which is reading that physical form, attributes of that form, and converting that physical form into a digital form. And those attributes are put in the right place, and it gives you a lot of flexibility after that to modernize that whole form. You can go from classical style to conversational style. So that's one component of AI into the platform. The second, when I talked about the document processing, so let's say now that in that application, you want a capability to read structured, unstructured, semi-structured documents coming from the end users, like ID proof, driving license, passport, or bank statement to extract the address information, or the power bill where you are validating the address, or so on and so forth, right? All different kind of documents. The AI module in our platform which is powering our document processing engine, is basically capable of reading any structured, unstructured, semi-structured documents. So that's the second AI module. The third one, I talked about that, the whole integration piece, right, where how we ingest the API specs and AI is assembling the code and building the integration. So that's the third part. So not to repeat the whole thing, right, but there's AI there too. So let's say you are trying to build, let's say point of sale application, right? Okay, what the user will do based on that description, we can start making, AI will start making recommendations that, hey, these kind of templates will make sense. So that's another set of AI components in the UI UX space too. So that's from the user perspective, right? The one who is building application. If you think from the consumer point of view, who is going to consume the platform, if you look across their journey, let's say a consumer is starting a journey with a bank. The first interaction will be that bank will, let's say bank is doing some proactive marketing, right? And trying to, attract you with some product. How do you personalize that marketing? Right, so there's a personalization in this marketing so that the offers will make sense, right? So from there itself to creating, the whole experience during the onboarding process, where we are making the entire, again powered by AI, very personalized. Then going to helping through the next best offers, right, or next best actions that will suit the consumer across the journey. So those are the different experiences that users will see, and I can go on and on, but those are the different experiences users, the consumers will see when they're using the platform. So there is an AI kind of across the board in the platform, but I just kind of hinted on some of the aspects from both
Yeah,
angles.
that's very helpful, and also I can certainly see that combining that with a no code platform that really empowers the business users to a degree that they haven't really had before, and facilitates that collaboration with the technology users. That's very compelling. We have been noticing, because an interesting situation. I would say it's not exclusive to the U.S. market, but probably more of a global circumstance, where most of and especially the very large financial institutions are running very, very old infrastructure, core systems, and they are, beginning to execute on strategies to just basically progressive transformation. So what's sort of identify what's a pragmatic way to begin, and with whom, with what vendor, what am I trying to accomplish near term, long term, and what pace am I comfortable with? And what we're seeing is there are certain technologies that really should accompany that transformation because they're really facilitating it. And I think Jiffy.ai is a good example of that. So maybe you could just talk for a minute about what are some of the benefits of having Jiffy.ai accompany a core modernization effort?
Yeah, I think that's fantastic question, very relevant, because financial services industry globally is going through a transformation. They have used some core products or system of records, and those, they're great platforms, right? So in those kind of situations, I think there are 4 or 5 critical things where Jiffy as a companion will be a great product in these kind of projects. So think about this: in the core transformation or core modernization, what's the first and foremost thing that you hear clients talking? Is this going to be a long drawn process? Time is a big factor, right? And business is not waiting. So business is moving way faster than we can imagine right now, right? So if time is a factor, then I think that's where we bring the biggest value. Being a no code technology platform, we are, at least we believe that we are 10 times faster than traditional approach of building an application. And we have some empirical data through which we have seen that when we say 10 times faster, we are actually even more, but minimum 10 times faster. So our ability to take client live in this core modernization faster than other players is, way better than what we can think of at this point of time. That's one point. Point number 2, many of the core modernizations are happening because, like I said, you need a facelift. You need some UI, UX, capabilities. And I talked previously that our ability to have the rich template of UI, UX capabilities powered by AI recommendations, I think it makes very attractive in these kind of situations where you can build the UI, UX, again, point and click technology known as writing a piece of code and quickly kind of, try different options. So that's the second part. The third part I will say here is that the core projects are happening is that you need to become an ecosystem player. Many of those cores are legacy cores, and many of those, of course, there have been wrappers put around them to allow them to talk to the ecosystem. But sometimes you need a little bit more efficient way of talking to the ecosystem. And our connector framework, again, plays a very critical role here. So we are able to talk to not just the cores, but the adjacent platforms, the system of engagements, all of them together, and kind of allowing this whole modernization move really, really fast is very effective. So that's the third thing I will say that is very compelling reason that why we'll become a very critical player in the core modernization. Then if I think about the fourth thing, which is very critical, is data in the whole modernization or transformation, right? And data, again, because of the siloed systems and the legacy, they're kind of sitting in pockets. And how do you make sure that you are moving data along in this transition? So that's where the ETL framework that we have in our platform plays a big role. So ETL, which has a capability to understand any file format and work with any data sources along with the connector framework, these two can go hand in hand, and they can work with any system, any file format, move the data to any system of record. And then the last piece I will say here, that when we think about the core modernization effort, the ability to sit adjacent to the core, and sometimes multiple cores, right? Because as you're going through this transformation, you may be working with the dual core situation, and we can sit besides or in between both of them and allow the information to live in both of them while the transformation is happening, and then aggregate the information and then push it to any system of engagement or any other application that requires that information. So you are not stopping your business. The life goes normal while underneath you have the transformation happening. So I'll say those 4 or 5 things are kind of very significant, and we play an important role in all of those areas.
Yeah, I would say more than a helpful companion on that transformation journey.
Yeah.
Jiffy.ai has very purpose-built solutions for the financial services, financial institutions, if you will, sector. What's a typical client like for you there, and what are they trying to achieve?
Yeah, if you take a typical financial institution persona today, what are the key things they are trying to achieve? So if I think from that perspective, we talked about this core modernization. I will give a different color to that. I will say modernizing not just core, but the legacy tech. So there are other systems which are also very legacy, not just the core part we are talking, right? So if the client is looking for those kind of transformation, modernizing the entire legacy tech, I think we know that's a perfect customer profile for us to leverage our capabilities. Then the other situation where you have more than 50% of workflows or the processes today are manual to some extent. And that's been a biggest challenge in terms of banks or credit unions achieving their business outcomes, because it slows them down. I mean, the manual interventions are causing errors, resulting into reputational risk and so on and so forth. So if you are on that kind of a journey, using our platform, for sure, you are going to automate your mid and back offices. And that way you are going to remove many of those frictions and manual interventions that you have in the ecosystem. So that's a second client profile. The third client profile, if you think about this, that if you are on a journey where, there's a lot of talks around banking as a service, open banking, embedded finance. And these are the kind of transformational things happening in our industry because, again, the financial institutions are looking to find new revenue sources, right? Going beyond the traditional way of generating revenue. And that's where banking as a service, open banking, embedded finance are all new way of building your business and expanding. Now, for that, you need to talk to the ecosystem. You need to empower the players into the food chain who can use your capabilities to offer those capabilities to the end consumers through open banking and embedded finance. And I think we are playing a significant role there too, which is kind of sitting besides or adjacent to the legacy ecosystem and allowing them to address these kind of opportunities. I will say that if a financial institution is looking to optimize the total cost of ownership on the financial side and kind of minimize the portfolio of redundant tools, then we are a great platform for that too. Because when we come into play, then because we bring so many capabilities in one box, which are all critical for the transformation, it's just very natural that many of the redundant tools, they are not required anymore. So just by removing those redundant tools, like, again, document processing, automation, workflow systems, all those tools are not required anymore. Data management system. So, simply by removing those redundant tools, you are reducing your cost of ownership. And then, of course, because we are a no-code platform, so you don't need so many deep technical resources. So if you are a financial institution looking for optimizing your cost of ownership, reduce the number of tools into the ecosystem, then of course we are a great platform to engage with. And then I think the last thing I will emphasize that there is so much buzz around AI today, right? Those AI skills are hard to come by. So if you are looking to experiment and do some dance around with AI, I mean, from that perspective also, I mean, engage with Jiffy.ai. That will give you a frictionless way of experimenting few things.
Well, our teams have been working on a few proof of concepts and use cases together. Maybe you could share with us a little bit about that.
Yeah, that was a fantastic experience for us as well. We got a chance to work with some great set of people in Finxact. The use case was very profound, in my opinion. So just to give you a lay of the land of the use case. So when we talked to our friends in Finxact, the challenge that was brought to the table that, hey, can we open a real-time multi-position account in a digital bundle? And when I say open a multi-position account in a digital bundle, what you're saying that, hey, can I open a checking account, a saving account, whatever kind of saving account, right? Can I open a multi-currency account or a foreign currency account? So that was the use case we took up. So we said, okay, let's open a checking account, a saving account, and a foreign currency account in this multi-position account opening. And we'll try to make it happen real time, Jiffy and Finxact working together. So Jiffy, of course, took the front end part. And so we build the UI where let's say, you want to open that multi-position account. So you will go and you will access through online banking or whatever channel. And once you click, you are basically interacting with Jiffy, where Jiffy will capture the initial information, do the KYC real time, because we had some integrations we showed on the KYC side. And then we passed all the information to Finxact through a real time APIs, and Finxact responded and we opened the account. So we opened those three positions, again, checking, savings, and foreign currency. Now, we use another set of Finxact API in the real time to fund those accounts through ACH Rails. So Finxact allowed us to fund those accounts real time. The accounts have just opened. Then we said, okay, can we use another set of APIs from Finxact and do some next best action, or next best product while the customer is still here? So we offered a line of credit, and line of credit was offered using another set of Finxact APIs. Now the line of credit appeared on the customer dashboard. Now customer that line of credit, so fund one of the foreign currency account we had opened in Great Britain pound. So that account was funded in real time using the line of credit that we just offered to the customer, and the money was moved real time as well in that account after the currency conversion. So that's the use case that we did. I mean, I just talked in maybe 30 seconds, 40 seconds, but it's a lot.
Yeah.
And everything we demonstrated in real time. So that was a fantastic use case. I mean, customers loved it. We extended that use case for a dual core scenario too, but we can talk about that some other time. But with the power of Finxact, the real-time banking was demonstrated. Of course, Jiffy providing a proper handshake there to take those capabilities and show it to the customer.
Yeah, it was super impressive. I saw it. Maybe just with the time that we have left, one final question. So your value proposition is appealing, very much to the business users, to the technologists in the bank. But what would you say is resonating the most for those groups?
Yeah, one of the things that you asked me earlier, that what makes us unique. And being in the fintech industry for almost 20 plus years, seen many evolutions happening, right? Many products and many technologies that has come up, and the great innovations. But hopefully you'll agree with me that they appeal to a particular set of stakeholders, or they appeal to a certain type of business problems. If you look at what Jiffy.ai has brought on table, our appeal is very pan enterprise, and we are appealing to all kind of stakeholders. And I'll double click on that a little bit here. Like you mentioned, we appeal to business and technology both, right? So if you think from the business stakeholders point of view, what kind of things they're very focused on? Hey, how can I go to market quickly? How can I bring new products to the market? How can I remove the frictions and create the profound user experiences? Because they know the value of creating those experiences, because they can do the cross-sell and upsell, and it's easy to sell to the existing customers than creating a new customer all the time or acquiring a new customer all the time. So business stakeholders are focused on those kind of things, right? We are allowing our clients to go to the market faster, way faster. So that's why business stakeholders are pretty happy. The kind of user experiences that we are creating through our platform is very interactive, very conversational, very personalized, and is appealing to the business stakeholders. Of course, we are capable of removing all the frictions through the mid offices and back offices through the workflow automations. It doesn't matter how complex is the workflow. We are able to bring them together and create that end-to-end unifications. So business stakeholders are absolutely thrilled seeing the capabilities that we are bringing together. The technology stakeholders are really impressed by the fact that, so before I go there, let me back. So when we talk about technology stakeholders, what kind of problems they deal with every day? I mean, their day in life. Hey, I have too many competing priorities. Business is asking me to do this project, that project, bring this thing, that thing, I have limited resources. So competing priorities, limited resources, I have to deal with many vendors because none of them are bringing the set of capabilities together. So I don't have a one throat to choke. And then, of course, I'm always struggling with the really good skilled resources. So how do I optimize in this situation? And that's where they see a lot of value in engaging with Jiffy.ai because, again, the length and breadth of capabilities that we have brought, our ability to reduce the dependency on very deep technical resources needed, because, again, you are not going to write a piece of code. Of course, you need to know how the systems are built, applications are built, right? So I'm not saying that there's no need for technical people. It's a great collaboration between business and technology people. And then, of course, they are able to achieve those goals with a reduced total cost of ownership. And we talked about that, right? So the technology folks are very pleased with what they see coming together in the product. But I want to expand this conversation a little bit towards the users. And we've been talking about users, and I want to talk about both the employees and the consumers. Now, employees, if you look post-COVID, our world has changed, right? I mean, most of us are in hybrid, in the distributed locations, and unlike old days where people are sitting together, especially bank employees are sitting together and they can tap over the shoulders and get things done. Not anymore, right? So we want to create or empower them with the capabilities where they are capable of doing their job seamlessly. And that's where we appeal to the employees a lot in terms of, because the adoption of our product is way simpler than many other complex products that they come across. And you hear that conversation, Christopher, all the times from the banking clients that, hey, I like your product, but will my people adopt it? Will they use it? Right? So there are several different products that they have acquired, but they have never seen the adoption. And we want to push the adoption to the employees, and we want to push the adoption to the consumers by making it super friendly for them to learn it and start using it and engaging with it. So I think combine all that together, like I mentioned in the beginning, that we are kind of pan enterprise and pan user group. And our goal is to appeal to all these very important stakeholders.
Well, Manish, it's very insightful. Thank you for sharing with us. Thank you for stopping by, and hope to have you back soon.
Absolutely. I enjoy the conversation.